Welcome to Storytime Sundays. I share authentic and genuine stories about my races and my own experiences. I don't use any fancy editing, I don't use a script, and I genuinely want to share exciting stories with all of you and give you a glimpse on what goes on behind the scenes. So, without any further ado, let's get started with today's story. So this story is about the time my friend and I went to the Vedanta Pink City Half Marathon right in the middle of our exams and things took a very unexpected turn. So both of us went into this race because we both hadn't run a half marathon in a very long time because the Vedanta Pink City Marathon happens around November or December and the last marathon we ran was probably around April, which was Toughman Gurgaon. So we both are very excited to do another race after so long together. So we went for a 2 day trip, but the catch was this was right in the middle of our exams in the way that our race was on Sunday and our exams ended on Friday, but we had another set of exams on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Even though this race was right in the middle of our exams, both of us were going for our personal best, and I was hoping to break the sub 2 hour barrier, which I hadn't been able to break for a very long time. I was going into this race feeling very confident and very strong. So it was a 2 day trip. We finished our exams on Friday, like the first set of them at least, and Saturday morning we left our house and we reached there around Saturday afternoon. And in the evening, we went to the mall, we enjoyed, we talked to each other. We also were studying for our exams, which were happening on Monday and Tuesday. But of course, it was very hard to concentrate for them because we were very excited to race the next morning. We went to the Babe Expo, we played a lot of different games, we met the race director, we met a lot of interesting people, and we interacted with a lot of different brands. And they all had very like interactive game stores like the reaction tests and everything. And because Vedanta is like a pretty well-known race organizer, I knew that going to their Babe Expo will definitely be worth it because and before that point, I'd never really been to a Babe Expo for like a half marathon. I'd been to the Toughman Shimla one, but of course that's because we were staying in that place, but never actually went out of my way to go to any Babe Expo. Later that evening, we both went to the mall, we ate something, we went to the arcade, and coincidentally, my relatives were also in Jaipur at that time, so we met them as well. But unfortunately, because we were going to the mall, or maybe because we were eating the hotel food with my relatives, maybe that didn't really plan out how I wanted it to be. Both of us didn't eat the best food. Like before a race, you're supposed to eat a lot of carbs. You're supposed to eat no like very less amount of fiber, almost no protein, but a lot of carbs, and the ones that don't really mess up your stomach and you have used before in your training. So, anyways, we both go to sleep. We do our proper recovery session, like we did foam rolling, we did stretching, we did all of the pizzazz which you're supposed to do before on race night, and we both went to bed at a reasonable time, very pumped for the race. The next morning, we both are very excited. We ate a little bit something which we had packed from the hotel. We had like bread and butter, and at this point, both of us are very excited because for some reason we're feeling absolutely amazing. We hadn't run in a long time, but we both felt like we we're going to get our personal bests. So finally, that morning, we reached the race venue on time. And one of the main reasons we registered for this half marathon, one of the things that was most appealing, because the Indian women's team cricket captain Harmanpreet Kaur was also there. So what we were expecting is that Harmanpreet Kaur is actually going to be there like at the Babe Expo or like she's running the marathon herself. Maybe we'll see her like cheering us or like at the finish line handing out the medals. I don't know what we were thinking because while she was there, like her presence was like exciting and it was so good to see such an inspiring person. She was just there to flag us off. Like she was there at 5, which I really respect. But we really just saw her from afar. We couldn't interact with her at all. Like I thought I'd say hi or something, I'll get a picture, but that was not the case. And in the midst of a lot of runners, she was on like a big stage where most of the race directors are. So we just got to see her in person, but we didn't get any chance to interact with her, which I think that's how it happens on other races as well. So no complaints there, but definitely something that we were hoping to be better. So, anyways, the race finally starts, and I kid you not, I'm perfectly on pace. Like I've never settled in this well or dialed into my pace this well before, even though I hadn't gone as fast as my goal pace because I was aiming a new PB. But this pace felt genuinely really good on my legs, and I was like, for sure I'm gonna get it. Like 21 kilometers on this pace, that's gonna happen for sure. But unfortunately, first kilometer, while it was just like on the mark, 5:35 per kilometer. The second kilometer, I started feeling like really bad, and not in the sense like mentally or in my legs or anything, but my stomach was giving me a lot of problems. I tried to shrug it off. I tried to walk a bit. I tried to have a lot of water. I tried to do all of the things you're supposed to because I thought, okay, maybe it's just a small setback. I was still aiming that I'll push, like it'll all go according to plan because the first kilometer went so well. But by the time I finished my second kilometer, I knew that something was definitely wrong, and I struggled to finish the third kilometer as well. Like I think I walked like 500, 600 meters of the third kilometer. And for some reason, I thought that maybe like I'll ask someone where the nearest porta potty is, because I felt that something's definitely off. And even if it's at kilometer number 5, at least I should have some idea where I'm going to go with this, because of course the start line was like 3 kilometers back and I have no way to get out of there without like running or anything. But luckily, in my interest, there was a porta potty right at kilometer 3. I'm so glad that I asked that where the porta potty is going to be at kilometer 3, because it was just right there. And I went, and I was like, at this point I was already crying, because obviously like you're already sweaty, your adrenaline is pumping and you're really uncomfortable. So I called my dad as well. He was there like in Jaipur only. He was like mentoring us a bit. So I called him, I told him about the problems I was having, and he told me to take my time. He told me still try and continue the race, because if it was a normal setback, and he knows, and like I know that I would be able to push through it like regardless, even if the race doesn't go as planned. But the way my condition was that day, like at kilometer 3, I was completely in shambles, because I knew that if this issue didn't happen, I would definitely be breaking my personal best and hitting a new milestone. So anyways, I'm in the porta potty for around 20-30 minutes for sure. And at that time it's obviously like really dark outside, because it's like early morning, and obviously there are no lights in the porta potty as well. And I'm contemplating whether I should pause my watch, whether I'm going to continue the race, what's the plan after this. So I get out of the porta potty after like 30-40 minutes. Like 3 kilometers took me 40 minutes, so you can just imagine like how devastating my pace was looking on my watch as well. So of course there was a huge mental barrier I had to overcome, because I knew it's going to be like basically impossible for me to catch up on the lost time. But I still had this narrative in my head. I remember so clearly that this is going to be my heroic moment. I'm going to run the rest of the 18 or 19 kilometers like really fast and still be able to break the sub 2 barrier. For some reason I was thinking that. And at kilometer 4 and kilometer 5, I was running, I was giving like everything I got, because I knew that even if there's the smallest chance, like 0.001% chance that I break my PB, I'm going to go for it no matter what. But unfortunately, again, at kilometer 5, I wasn't feeling the best. Like I had no stomach issues, but of course I was feeling like really fatigued. I was drained. I was running really fast for the past 2 kilometers, and of course I still wasn't on pace to break my personal record. So I decided that the main goal is to finish the race. And when you're racing like a 21.1 kilometers, like walking and like running slowly, you truly realize how large of a distance that actually is. Because when you're running fast, when you're running for like 2 hours or 2 hours 15 minutes, it really goes by like really quickly, and you don't really feel how long the distance actually is. It all goes away in like one blur. But if you're walking 21 kilometers, that's roughly 21 or 25,000 steps that you're walking in a go. You really get mentally drained. And at that point I was having a lot of negative thoughts as well. I thought, because I'm doing this, because I didn't get up for that training sessions, random negative thoughts were filling my head. And this was around at kilometer 11, so I still had basically halfway to go. But a lot of negative thoughts were entering my head. I thought, after this marathon I'm never going to do this. After this marathon I'm going to delete YouTube or whatever like bad habits I've been indulging in. Everything, like everything is going in my head. It's like a really sucky place to be. But I had my music with me. I was like trying to get pumped up again. I ran, walk, alternated, and just tried to cover the distance as best as I can. But one of the best takeaways I had from this race is, if you go toward the end of a half marathon, when all of the fast or intermediate runners have gone by, you really see the beginners or the people who have registered for the half marathon for the first time. People who genuinely believe they can do it while they may not look fit. People who are carrying like their bags, they don't even have a race belt. They're carrying bags, they're using water, they're walking. Their ability and their perseverance to keep going was something that really pushed me and dragged me to the finish line. Because if it hadn't been for them, I think I would genuinely have stopped. Seeing so many people around me who were facing a lot of difficulty in running, them still continuing, they refusing to give up. I think that was something really inspirational. I think if you ever, touch wood if you don't, but if you ever have a moment like that where you're towards the end of a half marathon, it's truly like a crazy experience, man. Because there are no crowds there are very less volunteers, there's very less photographers. But for them to keep going is just like hats off, man. Hats off to everybody who ran that day. I still remember so many people, but by face I remember. But just the amazing but kind of sucky feeling. So then eventually around 18 kilometers or 17 kilometers in, I knew that I finished the race at least, even if I have to walk the entire way. My friend calls me who I was running with. He's like a really fast runner. He calls me and he says, I finished the race like an hour ago. Where are you? I'm like, bro, this happened. I'm still walking. I'm still trying to push through. They're like, okay. So then I finished the race around in 3 hours or something. So definitely a lot longer than my personal best attempt of sub 2. But I finished the race. I was extremely happy. I think it was one of the best mental resilience performance I've shown in my endurance sports like journey so far. Because for me to finish that race, it wasn't easy, and I think nobody would have blamed me if I had like DNF that day. But I'm really happy. I think it's a medal I'm really proud of. But overall, a really crazy experience, and I'm really happy that I could use my willpower and all the motivational quotes and motivational music that day. So that is it for today's video. Kudos to everybody who supported me while watching this video and on Ray's Day. There are a lot of more exciting episodes to come. I upload every Sunday at 11 a.m. And you can follow me on my Instagram if you're not already. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Thank you.